When was the last time you truly rested and didn't feel guilty about it? Welcome to Ascend and Ignite, the podcast for high-achieving women who are done with burnout and are ready to reclaim their clarity, their confidence, and their calling. I'm your host, Shannon Howard, leadership coach, corporate survivor, and clarity mentor for women who want more than just a title. Around here, we blend soul with strategy, healing with high performance, and we ditch hustle culture for aligned success. If you're ready to rise with purpose and power, you are in the right place. Let me ask you something, and I want you to really consider these questions and don't hold back on the answers. When was the last time you truly rested and didn't feel guilty about it? Now, I'm not talking about scrolling on your phone. There's no multitasking. You're not planning tomorrow's to-do list. I mean actual soul deep rest, where you exhaled, where you finally felt yourself sink into the moment without fighting it. For so many high-achieving women, rest feels wrong. It feels almost indulgent. It feels like failure. Today, we're not just talking about burnout. We're actually going to be talking about the invisible script that's running your life. The one that says you have to earn your worth. You have to prove your value. You have to deserve your rest. If you're exhausted, but you're still pushing, if slowing down makes you anxious, if you feel like rest is weakness, this conversation is for you. You weren't born this way. You weren't born hating rest. You learned it. Maybe it started when you got praised for being the good girl who helped out without being asked. Maybe it was when you got extra credit for doing extra work in school. Maybe it was the way success stories were always framed around hustle, sacrifice, and suffering. Somewhere along the line, though, you absorbed the message: if you're not being productive, you're wasting time. If you're not producing value, you are less valuable. And the more you achieved, right? The more you thought you were winning. But you were actually trading pieces of yourself, your peace, your presence, your health, for approval. Now think back to your own life. When did you first feel like your value was tied to what you could do instead of who you were? Let me tell you about Emily. Not her real name, but a very real story. Emily had the life everyone admired. She had the corner office, the six-figure salary, the picture-perfect family photos. But Emily had a secret. Emily couldn't sit still. If she had a spare 10 minutes, she'd start cleaning, checking emails, filling silence with action. She joked she was just bad at relaxing. But deep down, it wasn't funny. It was suffocating. Poor Emily, even vacations felt stressful. Days off made her anxious. She couldn't stop because she didn't know who she was without the doing. When Emily finally reached out to me, she was on the edge of burnout, not because she was weak, because she was never taught how to rest without shame. During our work together, Emily had a realization, a huge realization that changed everything. She sent me a message and said, I've spent my whole life trying to be good enough, but I never asked, good enough for who? That's the moment everything cracked open. Because it was never about productivity. It was about worthiness. So let's get real for a second. When you try to rest, but you feel guilt, anxiety, or shame, it's not because you're lazy. Now, if you didn't hear that, I want to repeat it. When you try to rest, but you feel guilt, anxiety, or shame, it is not because you're lazy. It's because your nervous system is wired to associate safety with productivity. Your body actually believes that in constant doing, you're protected. Your brain actually believes that if you slow down, you're in danger. So why is it like that? Because somewhere in your story, in all of our stories, being valuable meant being busy, and being still meant being vulnerable. The guilt you feel when resting isn't a problem to fix. It's actually a wound we need to heal. You're not bad at resting. You're healing from a world that taught you your worth was conditional. So here are the 3 R's of rest recovery. Recognize. I want you to notice without judgment. Notice when you think, oh wow, I'm feeling anxious because I'm resting. This is a conditioned response, and this is not my truth. I want you to reframe. Shift the meaning of rest. Rest is not lazy. Rest is true leadership. Rest is strength. I want you to rebuild. Take small, deliberate rests. I want you to take 5 minutes of intentional stillness per day. Gradually expand your capacity for rest. Now, this is optional for you, of course, but I also want to invite you to pause for 60 seconds in this episode. Go ahead, hit the pause button. I want you to breathe deeply. I want you to feel your body. And I want you to notice any resistance in your body. So I want you to hear me loud and clear. You are already enough. You do not have to hustle for your worth. You do not have to bleed to prove that you deserve to breathe. Rest is not a reward that you earn once you've exhausted yourself. Rest is your birthright. Imagine the leader you could become if you led from overflow instead of from depletion. Imagine the mother, the partner, the woman you could be if you were full and not frantic. Imagine the life waiting for you. Not when you do more, but when you finally allow yourself to be more. If today's episode spoke to your soul, I invite you to go deeper with me and share this episode with a friend. Also, don't forget to grab your free stress-free leadership toolkit at shannonhoward.net and start your healing journey, because your future deserves the version of you who is rested, radiant, and fully alive. Till next time, keep rising. Your peace is not optional, it's essential.